if you are a vice chair of a panel, a committee, and the committee, how many months? They say 8 months work. And you didn't agree with your members there. You wait for when the report is being submitted to the entire country in front of the president to raise your objections.
My brother, actions at times may necessitate reactions.
But actions speak louder than words.
Your action, the way you react to a particular matter may determine the way I react to you.
In spite of all the experience you talk about?
Well, of course.
So where do we see
that
the
was
experience?
that was the only forum he had to defend himself and to clear his name.
In spite of
that
the 8 months?
Only forum.
Please, I am not. You are already making me an advocate for.
Let's take a look at this. No, we'd like you to look at this because since you went there, let's look at this and we'll get your response on it.
That the report will be brought to a committee of a whole. That was not done. Number two, some of the figures that were in the draft report were unreconciled figures. And I did say at that meeting that we have institutions responsible for these figures, and therefore you should work with these institutions. I do not know whether DPR is here. I do not know whether FRS is here. These are the people who should be talking about these figures. And then there were statements that were subjective. And we were to bring this report to a committee of the whole. What I am saying, the president has said, come to submit a report today. So what? If you are not ready, we are not ready. When I say so what, the president has spoken. We should be man enough to tell the president that we are not ready. Because the president has said we should come, that is the reason why we must now bring a report that is not process-driven. That's the point I'm making, Your Excellency.
Most of the members, as you have seen here, abandoned what they were doing, and we came and we gave everything to it. We worked every single day for about 3 months. Steve Oresenya never participated one day in the deliberations of this committee, not even a single day. He never. And the first time we saw Steve was when, at the end of the work, when we were talking about recoveries from companies, that he jumped in and he got in. All the members are here. They can bear witness to what I've said. He never participated in this work. And then, second, Mr. President, is your government, is your work. And whatever it is you, nobody else. This recommendation is for you to use. You thought it wise to call people from outside to come into the industry and look at it critically and give you an honest opinion. During the pendency of that committee, Steve Oresenya got himself appointed as a member of the board of NMPC. He became a member of the board of NMPC. The other gentleman who spoke, Oti, became the chief director of finance, NMPC.
So there you have that. He never participated for one day. That's what was said here. Who has controverted that? You said he participated in some, not entirely, but now the chairman of the committee says not for one day. So which meeting are you talking about?
Well, that still does not invalidate his membership of that committee, and he has every right to also hear opinion.
Are you serious?
He was not removed, and even what Ribadu said here, that he was appointed a member of NNPC should be added advantage as an insider in NNPC.
Is this the civil service mentality we're looking at here? Because how can you be a member of a committee, a vice, and you don't participate for one day and you show up to contravene all that the committee has done? Is that the way civil service works? Don't
forget, he had caught in an area of his core competence as an accountant by looking at figures. And what invalidates this report itself is that critical area, that critical element of not allowing the figures to be verified. Don't forget, if you look at...
Did you say all the figures or some of the figures?
The essence of this report...
No, we just want to be sure, from what you read. Yes. Did he say all the figures or some of the figures?
Some of the figures.
Some of the figures.
Some. Well, I mean, in data analysis, if a figure is faulty, the entire figure It's faulty.
Is this data analysis or just compiling different reports?
This
is not
data analysis. Look, don't forget, one of the major objectives of setting up this panel is to look at the fiscal regime.
Yeah, but this is not data analysis.
It is what do you call this?
How is it data analysis?
We are collecting data. You are collecting revenue for Nigeria. What do you use? You use data. And if the data is faulted by the committee itself, then it means whatever they have rendered in
by
terms
the
of
committee or by Mr. Steve Sanya and Mr. Bernard Oti.
It's there. I gave it to you in this covering letter. Why they said they did not verify all the figures?
We have all the copies.
Yeah, they don't verify all the figures. And if you didn't verify all the figures, it means your analysis cannot be correct. And the policy implementation cannot be valid.
In a document that's 139 pages,
yes,
probably the pages that have the figures are just about 4 or 5. That negates the entire document.
Of course. That is the one thing about figure.
In your core competence, if you have a data, let's talk core competence accounting. You have a data of 500 people paying 1 million naira, and just 2 or 5 out of the 500, the figures are wrong. That negates the entire 500 people, data on 500 people. Is that what you're saying?
Of course.
Of course.
Including the margin of error.
Of course.
Which you talk about.
Let me tell you one thing about this very sensitive job that this task force was assigned to look into. I told you I was trying to build an argument. I said the fiscal regime issues that are germane to this committee's work includes one fundamental area of assessing revenue. How much have we been able to derive from the upstream and downstream sectors? And how, in terms of optimization, are we justified as a nation? Are they accountable? Is probity proof there? And if you say the figures you are presenting cannot satisfy all these tests, you have failed. That be an issue. And that's the problem this report has. That was Suleiman report. Does not have this type of report. I can go the report. Does not have this one. Even Kakalu report. Does not have this type of problem. So why?
Are you saying that this report...
Why is it with the Ribadu's report?
Are you saying this report does not or did not generate sufficient credible information for robust review of the oil and gas sector?
Exactly. That's my position.
That's what you're saying?
Yes.
But Mr. Ogbakoba disagrees with you. He also popped in a statement saying that...
You see, my position is that...
He's a member of what?
Ogbakoba is not a member of the committee.
So a member of the committee is speaking and saying, let's give you a quote here verbatim. He says, nonetheless, it is my view that the report recorded sufficient, credible information for a robust review of the oil and gas industry.
That's a member of the
committee. So that's a member of the committee.
My position is that because of the data problem, the limitation, there are still other areas of the report that can still be used. And that was why Abati said yesterday, in total, the report, if it's not even accepted, they can still try and identify
which part do you think can be used? Read. Tell us from the report. Which part
the issue of sabotage of the pipelines. They are trying to suggest how such can be managed. Then there are other areas that are... These are...
What about the rush, as alluded in the NNPC, which NATI stands by, saying there's a lot of decay in the NNPC which the government needs to address?
In fact, it's also in this report. There is no collective point, central point of financial analysis in the entire segment, in the entire NNPC, where you can say, okay, rely on the figures you obtain from source A for your use. And in fact, some of the figures did not, some of them, in fact, it is also in this report, some of their limitations, that even as at time of collecting this report, information on data and revenue was still coming in.